Hi, I'm Stephanie with Crosscut Sewing, and today I wanted to show you the Crosscut Sewing Starter Kit. So I put this kit together myself for a few reasons. In my classroom, I thought I saw a lot of students who were getting new machines or buying their first machine and a little overwhelmed with which notions that they needed, and maybe buying some random things that they didn't need. And also I saw them going to the craft stores and things like that and buying sewing kits that were already sort of put together, probably by people that don't sew, because they had random things in them and mostly really low quality items that were going to break and need to be replaced anyway, so it was kind of a waste of money. So I wanted to put together a starter kit of the absolute essentials. These are the things I use myself. These are the things that I recommend that my students buy when they're starting out. And you can add from here, but these things will get you started and really make sure that you have everything you need when you're starting a project. So, of course, I have some fabric scissors. These are 7-inch scissors, so they're a little bit on the smaller side, which is good for younger sewers or anybody with hand issues. They will work just fine as long as you don't use them for anything other than fabric. This is the type of thing that will get you going, and you'll always have these, but you may want to invest in a nicer pair down the road once you kind of learn what you're looking for. I love using these fabric clips instead of pins on thick fabric or quilt bindings or certain projects. They are great, but they're also, again, great for younger sewers or people who are new to sewing who maybe aren't as comfortable with pins. I did include some glass head pins, so you're always going to need pins somewhere. There's always things that the clips won't work on because maybe like you're pinning a pocket in the middle of something or something like that. There is some thread. I have, usually it's a black and a white spool of thread, but it's at least a light and a dark that's in there. And 2 half yards of fabric, so you can either practice with these or they're half yards, so you can make a whole project. A seam ripper. You probably have a seam ripper with your machine, but they're one of those things that disappears all the time and you can always use an extra. A heat erasable fabric marking pen, so these are the kind that you can mark and they'll come off with your iron. A white chalk pencil for your darker fabrics. Hand sewing needles, because a lot of projects need to be finished with some hand sewing, so there's different sizes in there. This sounds funny, but this is my favorite point creaser or turner. There's something about the shape of this, and I prefer the plastic over a wood that I find maybe can be a little sharper or get stuck. This is great anytime you need to poke out corners in a project or just kind of turn those seams. A little pair of snips, because you should always cut little threads with little scissors. You don't want to use your big scissors when you're cutting those little threads. And this is a 6 by 12 inch acrylic ruler. So that is what I put in the kit. That is what you need, in my opinion, to get started sewing. These are quality supplies that will last you a while. And the only things that you may want to add, depending on what you're doing, if you are thinking about quilting or things like that, you can add a rotary cutter and a cutting mat. Those would be things that you would add on additionally. They're not in the kit because not everybody needs them, and I don't recommend them for younger sewers. But that's it. So if you have any questions, let me know.